welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna be talking about 10 books that I'm prioritizing in 2026. So I only wanted to do 10. I've been seeing people do like 26 books that I need to get to in 2026. If I made a list of 26 books, that would be like almost a third of my reads. And I am too much of a mood reader to make my list that big of a percentage of my like yearly reads. So I thought I would stick to 10, and I feel like that's a sweet spot. So this list consists of 5 books that came out in previous years, and then there's 5 books that have come out or are coming out in 2026. So I'm gonna start with books that have been released in previous years. So number 1 on my list is technically gonna be 2 books, but it makes sense to me why I'm including them both. Game Changers and Heated Rivalry by Reid. I have, of course, watched Heated Rivalry, and I am, of course, obsessed with it. So I'm dying to get to the books. I know that I can get them on Hoopla, so I'll probably listen to them on there. I'm just so excited. Reid is from Nova Scotia, which is where I'm currently living, so I need to support. And I just feel like I'm so obsessed with Shane and Ilya and Scott and Kip in the TV show, honestly, and I just need more of their lives. So I really want to get to both of those books this year. And honestly, hopefully I'll just blow through the whole series because book 7 is coming out this year, I believe. Those 2 books are number 1. Next book is gonna be Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I have been wanting to read this for a long time because I love Fredrik Backman's writing so much. This book deals with some heavy topics, so I know I need to be emotionally prepared for it. And also, I want to read it in the winter because it's about like ice hockey. Everybody that recommends it is like, this is a winter read. So I either need to read it right now or wait until winter at the end of 2026. This story takes place in a town called Beartown. It's a small little town that's like nestled into the forest. There's not really much going for it. Like, it's not this a big tourist destination or anything, but in this town there is a junior hockey team, and they're currently doing really well. They've made it to the national semifinals, and they actually like have a good chance of winning. The boys feel this burden because they feel like they need to win. If they do well at nationals, it will give them publicity, and alongside that, it will give Beartown publicity. That could maybe help the town out economically. Something ends up happening, I believe, with one of the boys on this team. In the synopsis, it says that a violent act will leave a young girl traumatized. After this violent act is committed, people are taking sides, morals are being questioned, people are being accused of things, and this town is just split. I know there's gonna be some heavy topics in it, and Fredrik Backman's books are always emotional and very moving. I find them to be that way, at least. So I'm really excited for this one, but need to be mentally prepared. That is book number 2 on my list. The next book that I definitely want to get to this year is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. From what I've heard, this book is like giving a Hogwarts setting where it's a magical school and the students are all separated into houses that have like an animal attached to them. So I think there's like bear, ox, raven is one of them. I'm not sure about the other ones. There's trials involved and there's a murder, and I think our main character has to figure out who the murderer is. And honestly, that's all I need to know because of the ratings that this book is getting. This book on Goodreads right now has 32,000 ratings, and it has a 4.44 average. Like, that is so crazy. I'm honestly sold on ratings alone, and the fact that it's like giving Hogwarts vibes also is definitely helping. Love Harry Potter, fuck J.K. Rowling. It's obviously a fantasy book, and it's pretty thick. On Goodreads, it says that it's 656 pages, and I'm just so intrigued. So I'm prioritizing this. I have an Audible credit, so I'm actually thinking about getting the audiobook. I'm super excited for this one, and I'm like kind of in a fantasy mood right now. So that's number 3 on my list. Next on my list is another fantasy. This one I own on the Kindle app on my iPad because I don't have a Kindle. Gideon the Ninth by Tasmyn Muir. This is a queer fantasy sci-fi-esque thing. My cousin recommended it to me. Honestly, right when I heard that it was sapphic, it was on my radar immediately. And then I looked into it and saw the ratings it has, and that kind of sold me. I hear basically everybody talk about this highly. It has over 4-star average on Goodreads, so super into it. It's been on my TBR now for almost 2 years, I think. So I really need to get to it because I feel like this is a staple in like queer reads. Okay, I'm gonna read the synopsis on Goodreads because I don't really know exactly what this is about. Let me preface this by saying a necromancer is a practitioner of magic who communicates with, summons, or controls the dead, often reanimating corpses to act as servants or soldiers. That's important because they use the word necromancer in the synopsis a bunch, and I didn't know what that was for a long time. The Emperor needs necromancers. The 9th necromancer needs a swordswoman. Gideon has a sword, some dirty magazines, and no more time for undead bullshit. Brought up by unfriendly, ossifying nuns, ancient retainers, and countless skeletons, Gideon is ready to abandon a life of servitude and an afterlife as a reanimated corpse. She packs up her sword, her shoes, and her dirty magazines and prepares to launch her daring escape. But her childhood nemesis won't set her free without a service. Harrow Hark Nonagesimus, Reverend Daughter of the 9th House and Bone Witch Extraordinaire, has been summoned into action. The Emperor has invited the heirs to each of his loyal houses to a deadly trial of wits and skill. If Harrow Hark succeeds, she will become an immortal, all-powerful servant of the resurrection, but no necromancer can ascend without their cavalier. Without Gideon's sword, Harrow will fail, and the 9th House will die. Of course, some things are better left dead. Honestly, that synopsis kind of gives me nothing. I didn't super understand that. But I need to read it. I need to because it's so highly talked about. This is the first book in a series, so honestly, after my cousin recommended it to me over Thanksgiving, then I was like, okay, I need to read it. Actually, 2026 is gonna be the year. My last book for books that came out prior to 2026, I actually have the physical copy. It's called For the Love of a Son by Scott Oake. It's a memoir of addiction, loss, and hope. I bought this for myself in my birthday book haul last year. This actually came out last year. Nonfiction, obviously. It's written by Scott Oake, who... Oh my god, I literally can't even talk about it. Okay. Guys, okay. It's written by Scott Oake, who is a veteran broadcaster for HockeyNet in Canada. In 2011, he lost his son to opioid addiction. Guys, I can't read the synopsis or I'll cry. At just 25, Scott's vibrant, creative firstborn son was gone forever. It was a loss that could have broken a man, a marriage, a family. But Scott, Anne, and their younger son, Darcy, instead turned the worst day of their lives into a way to help the thousands of Canadians struggling with addiction. After nearly a decade of fundraising and navigating red tape and political machinations, they launched the Bruce Oak Recovery Center, a free, revolutionary treatment facility staffed by addicts and alcoholics in recovery. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely read this in 2026. And by read, I mean cry every fucking page. Just like I did in Beautiful Boy. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited for this. I need to read it. I've been putting it off because I know I'm gonna cry. It's so, I had never heard of this recovery center. And what an important and amazing thing that they created. So I'm interested to read about it and learn about the road to get there. Okay, so now into the 5 new releases I want to get to this year. The first one is called Yesteryear by Caro Burke. In this, we're following our main character, Natalie, who is a trad wife influencer who has gained around 8 million followers on social media from selling this image of herself that is essentially a lie. She has 6 children, a cowboy husband, but behind the scenes, there are producers and nannies that are really doing all of the heavy lifting for her. Then one day, she wakes up in 1805 and has to figure out how to actually be a trad wife. And she is wondering, am I being pranked? Is this a reality TV show? Or is something more sinister going on? This sounds so good and just like insane. I'm really interested in the part that's discussing Natalie as a trad wife influencer and kind of like the commentary that we get about that aspect of it. I heard the synopsis of this the other month and I was like, oh, I have to read this. That sounds insane. Next book, My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. In this, we're following Eden, who one morning goes out for her morning run. And when she gets back, a woman answers the door to her house. She's like, what the hell are you doing here? And the girl is like, what the hell are you doing here? The woman kind of looks like Eden and it's kind of creeping her out. And then Eden's husband comes to the door. Eden's like, okay, finally. He's gonna realize that there's a random woman in her house. But then her husband looks at Eden and is like, who are you? This is my wife. The description of this says that it does not involve any like sci-fi alternate dimension stuff. It's just a classic twisty thriller. So I'm super into it. I read Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney last year and I really liked it. So I wanted to give another one of her books a try. And this sounds very interesting. Next on my list is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clarke. Evelyn Clarke is actually two authors writing under one name, Clarke and viii. In this, 6 authors are invited to a private Scottish island owned by a renowned author named Arthur Fletch. Once they get there, they find out that Arthur is really dead and that they've been summoned there by his PR team in the hopes that one of them will be able to write a sufficient ending to his last book that he was writing, but that he never finished. The successful candidate will receive a large amount of money and will also receive help from Arthur's PR team in launching their writing career. They have 72 hours to complete this final chapter once they get to the island. And with the stakes this high, people might turn to drastic measures in order to come out on top. This is like a classic murder mystery-esque type thing. I think it'll be twisty and I'm really excited. I've never read from Clarke, but I have read from viii and I like her writing, so I'm really interested to see what this one's like. Next on my list is The Caretaker by Marcus Kliewer. I don't want to know very much going into this book because I feel like I didn't know very much. Just a vague synopsis when I went into his book from last year, We Used to Live Here. Oh no, 2024. So all I know for this one is our main character, Macy, accepts a house sitting job via like an internet posting. And the job comes with some very oddly specific rules. Some people might say they're more like rituals. That's literally all I want to know. Like, don't tell me anything else. If you know more, I don't want to know. I'm so excited for this. His other book, We Used to Live Here, was 5 stars. And I'm just foaming at the mouth, ready for this book. I hope it's just as like twisty and psychological as We Used to Live Here was. Then the final book on my must-read list for 2026 is The Mortal Enemy Murder Club by Gloria Chao. So last year I read The Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club, which was like a cozy mystery that I gave 5 stars out of nowhere. The synopsis of the book sounded so funny and interesting that I was like, kind of went out on a whim and read it, and then I ended up loving it. I honestly think that it probably would have been fine as a standalone because I really liked how it ended, but I feel like I have to read this one now because I need to know what she does with it and where it goes. I fear I'm not gonna like it as much, but I gotta give it a shot. We're following the same group of girls in this and they're helping somebody else solve a mystery. In the last one, it was pretty high stakes because it looked like these girls killed their ex-boyfriend. And I feel like the stakes won't be as high in this one. So yeah, I have no clue where it's gonna go, but I gotta try it anyways because I really, really liked The Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club. So I'm gonna give it a go. And that is the final list for my 10 must-reads of 2026. I have to check all of these off or else. I have a good feeling. There's 10 books, so I don't even have to do one a month. And I think the split of 5 new releases and then 5 releases from previous years will be good because then I have an excuse to go like pick up new books, but also you need to read books that are on your TBR already. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you might have gotten some recommendations from this video. I'll try and put all of these in reading vlogs if I can. If not, you'll hear about them in wrap-ups for sure. I'll see you in the next one.